Hello again, and welcome to episode 6. In some earlier episodes, I was talking about how happiness is something that you don't find in anything external to yourself, that the source of your happiness and inner peace is within you. And I also mentioned in one of our talks about how Michelangelo said that he didn't create his beautiful statues, they were inside the marble, put there by God, and that his role as the sculptor was just to cut away the excess marble to get to that beautiful statue within. So, how does this translate, or what is the analogy? How does this metaphor of the statue apply to us? Here's what I think is the real, maybe secret to the whole issue of how do we find happiness and inner peace. I think it's not a matter of what do we have to do to be happy. I think it's a matter of what do we have to undo to be happy. How do we cut away the excess marble to get to the statue within? So now I want to bring up the subject of the ego. Ego is a very loaded term. There are a lot of different definitions for it. Some people talk about, oh, he has a big ego, meaning that that person has a very high opinion of themselves. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is the ego as a thought system. The ego is a belief system, and it's based on the idea that we are all finite, separate, physical beings that are born, live, get sick, die. While we're here, we are in competition with other physical beings for access to and possession of scarce, limited resources. So we see other people as either a threat, they're either a threat, or in some way they're a help to our getting what we want. And so every interaction with another human being is based on either fear of them and what they represent, or some belief that they will somehow help us. This belief in the separate self is the cause, it is the root of all problems that human beings have with one another in the world. All political, religious, racial, economic conflict of any kind, love relationship conflict, all conflict of any kind between human beings, ultimately derives from this belief in the separate self, the kind of me against the world attitude. And even if it's not me against the world, sometimes it's you and me against the world. Sometimes it's based on the belief that there's a special person out there who will complete us, that we're not complete in and of ourselves, but if we had that relationship with that right person, then we would be complete. Undoing the ego thought system, the belief in the finite, separate self that is somehow lacking and wanting and alone in this world out there, if you can undo that belief system and all of the fear and anxiety that goes with it, that's how you get to the statue that's inside the marble. And that is where the peace and happiness is. It's in knowing that you have everything you need. You don't need anything. Well, you need certain things to sustain the physical body as long as you're here. You need food and shelter, clothing, that sort of thing. Do you need houses, or big cars, or fancy this, fancy that? You need smartphones? Do you need computers? Do you need money, really? Well, to function in this world, yes, you need some of those things. But none of that is what you need to be happy. And the chasing of those material things is based on the belief that you need them in order to be happy. You need them in order to have peace. If you can undo that belief system to get to what's really inside of you, which is love, that's where you're going to find peace and happiness. It's an undoing. It's what do I have to undo to attain happiness and inner peace, not what do I have to do. What do I have to undo? See you next time.